Charlie Kirk's children is not his.
Now things have officially gone from tense to explosive. Charlie Kirk's parents are saying they finally saw proof that confirmed every quiet suspicion they'd been sitting on about Erika. And right after that, boom, she allegedly cut off their access to the kids and may even be gearing up to request a protective order. To a lot of people watching this unfold, that move didn't calm anything down. It cranked the volume all the way up. If you followed this saga from the start, you already know the whispers never stopped. For years, people speculated that Charlie may not have been the biological father of all the children he shared with Erika. That talk stayed mostly online. But Charlie's parents reportedly believed a DNA test would eventually bring clarity and settle things quietly. Y'all, whose kids are these? Whose kids are these? Erika Kirk provided this as proof of where she was September. What they never expected was Erika shutting the door before any conversation could even happen. That sudden cutoff is exactly why this is headed to court now. Insiders say Charlie's parents feel boxed out and silenced, and they're not willing to let Erika control the entire narrative from behind closed doors. To them, this isn't about drama, it's about answers. And they believe the truth shouldn't be off limits or buried under legal walls. So now everyone's asking the same question, loud and clear. Was Erika always planning to cut Charlie's parents off? Or did something happen that pushed her into panic mode? The timing feels sharp, the moves feel offensive. And the lack of transparency has people raising eyebrows all over the internet. For months, online voices had been pushing Charlie's parents to request DNA testing. And at first, many felt that was crossing a serious line. A grieving widow deserved compassion, not interrogation. But as time went on, some of Erika's actions started feeling less private and more performative, and that's when public opinion began to shift. Sources close to the situation say Charlie's parents were forced to face a reality they'd been avoiding for a long time. I will never forget the time I was in Israel with my hus. Well, not with that was the second time, but the first time with my mother on a pilgrimage. And I was standing in the ticket line, and I remember looking behind me, and in the snake of the ticket line was a guy who looked very familiar. I had no idea who he was, and I told my mom, "This guy looks so familiar." And as a typical mother, she said, "Go and say hi." No, we were late for our flight, and I'm not going to come off like a crazy person, but that's just weird. That ended up being Charlie. Nothing is by coincidence. Now, did we know that? No. Not until we were like 3 months into our relationship and looking at timestamp. Moving forward after loss is normal. But critics point to what they describe as a full-blown public grief circuit packed with high-energy appearances, media moments, and a tone that didn't sit right with everyone. To them, it didn't feel like quiet mourning. It felt staged, and that's when trust really started to crack. And now, with lawyers involved and emotions running hot, this situation is no longer staying behind the scenes. Every move is being watched. Every silence is being questioned. And people are waiting to see who finally breaks and what comes out when they do. For Charlie's parents, this crossed way beyond hurt feelings. They saw it as blatant disrespect to Charlie's memory and a personal slap to their faces. In their eyes, Erika acted like Charlie didn't leave behind parents, family, and people who loved him long before she ever entered his life. Watching her dominate the spotlight felt less like honoring him and more like positioning herself for whatever came next, and that burned deep. To them, it looked like Charlie's life was being reduced to a prop in someone else's storyline. Instead of quiet remembrance, they saw polished appearances, calculate moments, and what felt like a performance aimed at staying relevant. And while Erika moved forward publicly, Charlie's parents were left grieving in private, feeling erased from a story they helped write long before cameras or headlines. But what truly shook them was how Erika handled the kids. According to insiders, there was no pause button, no extended moment of grounding or emotional presence after such a massive loss. The children had just gone through something life-altering. Yet, sources say Erika was back on the move almost immediately, leaving others to step in and fill the gaps. That speed didn't just raise eyebrows, it set off alarms. People close to the family say Charlie's parents were stunned by how quickly Erika seemed to detach from day-to-day parenting during such a sensitive time. It forced them to ask questions they never wanted to ask. Questions no grandparent wants even crossing their mind. You remember I told you that Daddy was working with his friends from heaven to send? You presents every day so you always know you're loved. See you? I know it's Sesame Street, but all these are for you, baby. That's when the quiet doubts got louder. Charlie's parents reportedly started wondering if Erika's behavior made sense. Only if the emotional weight of the loss wasn't what it appeared to be. That thought alone was enough to keep them up at night, replaying moments, patterns, and things that suddenly felt off. This is where the situation really starts to spiral. Over the last few months, more details about Erika's past have surfaced, shedding light on why Charlie's parents felt DNA testing wasn't optional. It was necessary. This isn't random internet chatter. Erika herself has publicly contradicted her own story multiple times, and those contradictions are documented. She's admitted more than once to reshaping her background to appeal to Charlie. That goes beyond glossing over parts of her entertainment history. It extends to the very foundation of their relationship, including how they met, a story that keeps changing depending on the moment. In one telling, Erika claimed she randomly met Charlie while waiting in line at an airport with her mom. In other versions, the setting, timing, and details shift just enough to raise suspicion. To Charlie's parents, these weren't harmless memory slips. They were warning signs stacking up, each one louder than the last. In yet another version of her story, Erika claims she was introduced to Charlie by Tyler Bauer, the current coup of TPUSA, who allegedly wanted to connect her with Charlie for a job interview. She framed it like a clean professional setup that just happened to turn into something deeper between 2018 and 2019, almost like fate stepped in at the perfect moment. And that was until I hosted the first Trump rally in Trump rally history, right here in Arizona in 2015. I got a call from Miss Erika Kirk, Miss Arizona 2012. I just want to help, she said. So naturally, I put her right behind the president at that first round. But once people started digging, that timeline didn't hold up very well. Publicly available information suggests Erika may have already known of Charlie as far back as 2015, even if he wasn't aware of her yet. And here's the detail that really made people pause. Erika already knew Tyler Bauer during that earlier period, which makes the whole first introduction story feel shaky at best. Then things get even messier. Erika's ex, Kat Phillips, who she was in a very serious relationship with at the time, also knew Charlie personally. There are real photos out there of Kat and Charlie hanging out and playing basketball together. So, the idea that Erika somehow had no connection, no overlap, and no awareness until years later just doesn't add up to a lot of people. That so-called meet-cute story started sounding more like a carefully edited script than a real memory. And the worst part for Charlie's parents is that none of these contradictions came to light until after Charlie passed away. By then, they weren't just questioning a few details. They were questioning everything. Someone could build an entire backstory just to get close to their son? What else could be fabricated? But here's the moment that truly pushed Charlie's parents over the edge. Erika had repeatedly claimed that Charlie was the only man she ever seriously dated. That statement didn't survive even basic scrutiny. Records, interviews, and old posts show she had multiple relationships before Charlie, and one of them was especially serious. That relationship was with professional baseball player Tyler "JT" Massey. At the time, Erika appeared fully invested and emotionally attached. She publicly called him her favorite human, her best friend, and her incredible boyfriend. And she didn't shy away from showing how close they were. Things got even louder after an interview with Arizona Foothills magazine. Engagement-style photos of Erika and JT started circulating online, and many people genuinely believed they were headed toward marriage. The images, the captions, the tone, it all pointed in that direction until the relationship abruptly ended for reasons that were never clearly explained. Done eating, and he just looked at me and he goes, "You know, I'm not going to hire you." And I said I did not need the job. I said I was fine with consulting with you guys if you needed anything with regard to help. I have plenty of things going on in New York City. He said, "I'm going to date you." When Charlie's parents lined all of this up, the shifting timelines, the rewritten history, the past relationships that didn't match her claims, it stopped feeling like coincidence. To them, these weren't small mistakes or fuzzy memories. They looked like patterns. And once those patterns became visible, there was no one seeing them. But the moment that truly blindsided Charlie's parents came when an old video resurfaced of Erika and JT at a Trump rally. Standing between them was a young girl who looked almost identical to JT, and that visual alone sent shockwaves through everyone watching. Almost instantly, speculation exploded online, with people questioning whether Erika already had a whole other family before she ever got involved with Charlie. Now, even if Erika never had children with JT Massey, that still doesn't explain the lightning-fast timeline that followed. She went from cozy couple dates with one ex to dating, then getting engaged to Charlie in less than a year. And the missing link in that timeline just so happens to be Cabot Phillips, a name that keeps popping up in uncomfortable places. Cabot Phillips isn't just another ex. He's now a significant figure within TPUSA, and his background has raised eyebrows for years, between his political ties and family connections. Rumors have swirled nonstop with some people, even questioning whether he played a role in steering events behind the scenes. That alone made Charlie's parents uneasy. But the details didn't stop there. The biggest red flag less than a year before Erika and Charlie got engaged. Kat was posting photos of himself and Erika on painting dates, openly confirming they were together at that time. That overlap shattered the clean timeline Erika had presented and made the entire story feel stitched together instead of natural. Then things got even stranger. So I happened to be there in Israel to dot, and so I was on a pilgrimage with my mom in Israel, and I turned around and I saw someone who looked super familiar. Y'all, this Erika Kirk Israeli honeypot story just got way more sinister. Does anyone else think this is Erika Kirk putting in fake tears into her eyes? Let everyone see what true evil is. This is something that could impact a generation and generations to come. Around the same time, Erika and Charlie welcomed their first child. Kat publicly announced that he had also welcomed a baby. Once people noticed that coincidence, the DNA questions stopped sounding like fringe internet chatter and started feeling impossible to ignore. What really threw everyone off was Erika's response or lack of one. Insiders say she didn't fight the idea of DNA testing, but she also never addressed it directly. She never answered the questions, never denied them clearly, and never stepped in to shut the rumors down. And when Charlie's parents demanded the truth, sources say she stayed eerily calm and silent, which made it feel like she already knew how this would play out. That silence spoke louder than any statement. Too many watching, it looked less like shock and more like strategy. As if Erika had planned several moves ahead and was sticking to the script no matter how loud the noise got. Meanwhile, the tide online has turned fast. The same supporters who once backed Erika during the early days of her public grieving are now pulling away hard. Defending her has become nearly impossible, and even longtime fans admit they no longer understand her choices. Comment sections, the backlash has officially turned brutal. Posts criticizing Erika's behavior now go viral within hours. Memes rack up millions of views overnight, and the tone online has completely shifted. What started as sympathy has turned into open disbelief. People aren't asking questions gently anymore. They're calling things out. Erika can ignore the noise if she wants, but one thing is undeniable. The goodwill she once received simply for being Charlie's wife is evaporating fast. Okay? And there's no sign of it returning anytime soon. But here's where the narrative takes a sharp turn. Because buried inside all of this chaos is an interview clip that suddenly feels very different in hindsight. In that interview, Erika casually talked about her dating habits when she lived out there for 5 years. She said she never dated seriously because she saw through her roommate how unhealthy the scene was. According to her, drinks had replaced coffee, breakfast, or brunch. She emphasized that she doesn't drink, not because she thinks she's better than anyone, but because she finds it unproductive. Then she added something that stuck with a lot of people. She said she always found it strange how her roommate would go out for drinks with one guy and then dinner with another. 2 different men, same day, different settings. At the time, it sounded like harmless commentary, personal preference, observational humor. But now, people are replaying that interview with a different lens. Because while the backlash was crashing down, while questions were multiplying and timelines were tightening, Erika didn't slow down. According to multiple claims, she did the opposite. She allegedly doubled down, leaned harder into the public grief narrative, and at the same time reportedly made a drastic move behind the scenes. According to insiders, Erika completely cut Charlie's parents off. No warning, no discussion, no gradual distance, just a hard stop. No visits, no overnights, no casual drop-ins, not even a brief hello. Total silence. Charlie's parents were allegedly shut out entirely, and that single decision is what finally pushed everything past the point of patience. This isn't about conversations anymore. They're done trying to reason. They're done asking quietly. They're taking this straight to court. And now the stakes are real. Once this situation enters a courtroom, everything changes. Judges don't care about social media narratives. They don't care about curated appearances or emotional framing. The outcome is suddenly wide open. And that's why people are now asking the question nobody wanted to say out loud. Could Erika actually lose custody? Or will she somehow manage to slip through again, leaving Charlie's parents devastated permanently? Either way, the reality she tried to outrun is now standing directly in front of her, blocking Charlie's. Parents didn't erase DNA questions, didn't fix timeline overlaps, didn't answer unresolved contradictions. If anything, it amplified them. Every door she closed only made the questions louder. And for Charlie's parents, grief has transformed into something else entirely. They're not just mourning anymore, they're fighting. Fighting for access, fighting for answers. Fighting for what they believe has been withheld from them since the very beginning. Because once this reaches a courtroom, Erika won't be able to control the narrative the way she has online. There will be no filters, no carefully timed silence, no emotional pauses for effect. Courts don't deal in vibes or optics. They deal in records, dates, names, timelines, facts, and if the wrong name appears where Charlie's should have been, stops being internet drama altogether. It becomes permanent, something that can't be walked back, reframed, or rebranded. Now I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments because this story is far from finished. If this breakdown helped you understand what's really unfolding, make sure to like, subscribe, and share so others can see it too. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.